Okay, so can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Oh, someone else put in The Midnight Library. That is a very good book as well. We could do this all day. Um, okay, so welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. If you can believe it, this is session 50 that we've done, episode 50, session 50. It's a lot, and we're going to talk about Microsoft ToDo today. If you noticed in employee notes or the employee news, that they mentioned that they've released Microsoft ToDo as the full app for us to use now. So we thought this would be good to show off today. As with everything, we don't know all the things. We can just show you what we learned, and we hope that you'll share what you've learned as well. All right. So just if you don't know who we are, I'm Larissa Gann from the Research Medical Library, and my colleague Leslie Moore is with me. If you guys have any questions about resources, please contact us in the library. We're here to help you find the right resource or get you to the right place. It is Black History Month, and there is a lot of great events going on at the institution. So check out employee notes. I mean, just like so many good things going on. So please check them out. There's also a new Zoom background, and we always mention Zoom here. So there's a Zoom background for Black History Month. It's already loaded onto your Zoom, so you should be able to just go to your video, select virtual background, and see the background. I actually haven't checked it out yet, but I will do that soon. But that's cool that they give us a background so we can help celebrate Black History Month. And as always, we have ebooks and audiobooks available for free through the Libby app. Libby is also known as Overdrive. So we have a collection for Black History Month, and we've been able to grow it over the last year. So we're pretty excited about that. And we want you to take a look. Don't forget, you can also use the public libraries, and they have even more than we do because they're just such a huge system. So Harris County, Houston Public, Fort Bend County, tons of great books and audiobooks that you can download for adults and for kids as well. Just got to do a shout out for that. And we also have a new class series that's starting next week. I can't believe it's February, on writing persuasive R01 proposals. So if you know anybody who's interested in this, you can sign up through the library's calendar. It's also on the institutional calendar as well. It is 3 one-hour modules because it's a big topic. And our scientific editors teach this class, and they're really incredible. So please, if you know somebody who's interested, you can share that with them. Okay, so we're going to focus on Microsoft ToDo today, which I'm pretty excited about because it's accessible to us. Parts of it were accessible before, but the whole shebang is available now, so we want to show it off. So what is ToDo? It is, as the name implies, it's a to-do list. It's supposed to combine all of our tasks from Microsoft, from our office.com into one platform. So, and sync everything across the platform. Don't forget that, or keep in mind that it does take a few seconds to sync. It's not always instantaneous, but we'll take a look at that. So what it's combining are things like your Outlook flagged messages, which you may already be creating flagged messages or tasks. It also combines the Microsoft Planner due dates. So if you're using Microsoft Planner for project management, anything that's assigned to you is also going to show up on your to-do list. You can add OneNote tasks to your to-do list, and there is a Teams integration to this, and we'll look at it. You can get to ToDo at office.com. If you just go to office.com, it's already there. You can download the app for your smartphone, and there is a desktop app from the Microsoft Store. So if you search from your start bar for the Microsoft Store, you can actually download the ToDo app, and that's primarily what I'm going to show you today is the actual app, desktop app, because I felt like it had more functionality. But as always, you can just use it web-based if you prefer. So how is ToDo different than Microsoft Planner or Microsoft Lists? Really, ToDo is kind of like a day-to-day checklist. It's for your personal task management. Now you're going to see that they do integrate it with these other products, but it's really a day-to-day to-do list. It was built off of another app that was called Wunderlist that was available before the Microsoft purchase. So it's really a to-do list. Planner is different. Planner's really for project management and collaboration. And we looked at that. It's been a while since we've looked at Planner, but It's really meant for project management. Lists is meant for team projects, workflows, or processes. Basically, you pick the ones that work for you, whichever app works for you, or maybe you use all three. But To-Do is really for day-to-day stuff. So when you open up To-Do, and this is a screenshot from office.com, you have a little navigation bar, and these are the basic options on your to-do list. You can have the first section is called My Day, which is, as it states, it's your tasks for the day. So you build a list for your day. It refreshes every day, so you can continue to add new things and say, like, today, this is what I'm going to focus on. Your tasks is the list of everything that you put on your to-do list. So you may not have those tasks list on My Day because you're not going to focus on them today, but you still have them in your task list because you want to focus on them, this week or next week sometime. Important is anything you star as something you think is important. I haven't really used the important section. Planned are items with a due date. So if you have a due date, you see the little calendar icon, and that shows up in the planned list. Assigned to me is anything that comes from Planner. So if you're part of a planner, Microsoft Planner, and somebody's assigned something to you, it's going to show up here. And then your flagged emails from Outlook are going to show up here as well. So it's all kind of combined in one place, and we're going to look at them each individually. So when you just want to add a task to your list, it's super easy. You click on Add a Task and you type in the task. Once you've typed it in, you can add additional details, or you don't have to. When you click on the task that you've added, you can add steps, is what they call them, but it's basically just subtasks that you're creating. So I can say I'm creating a copyright guide, and then I have these subtasks that I want to do underneath that, and I could continue to add those under the same task. You can set reminders for yourself. You can give yourself a due date. You can repeat it. So if this was something I was doing once a week, once a month, I could set a repeat notice on a calendar. There are categories, but the categories only work on office.com. They don't work on the app. And the categories are based on whatever categories you've set in Outlook. So I haven't particularly found this useful yet, but someone else may find it useful. So I wanted to point it out. You can add file attachments and notes to each task as well. So it really gives you a lot of granularity. You can make it really simple. So this is my app on To-Do from the desktop, and I can say, I need to do my monthly report, and I can just add it. I just hit enter and it added. If I click on it, that's where I get that detail to add additional steps like statistics, whatever else I want to add, due date, etc. And then it stays here. Okay.
So we have a question. For the file attachments, can you link to files in OneDrive, or would you need to put it in the more broad add note section?
I haven't tried to link it to OneDrive. That's a great question. When I go to add file, it looks like I could add a file from my OneDrive here. So it looks like I could. I think so, but I haven't played around with that too much, so I'll have to look a little bit more. Good question. When you're looking at the My Day section, this is literally your day. You have to drag and drop things to your day to say, this is what I'm going to work on today. You can collect tasks from different areas of your to-do, or you can add new items. Every day your My Day task list refreshes. So this morning there was nothing on my list, and I had to go back to my tasks and say, okay, today I'm going to work on, and I dragged and dropped things into my day. At the end of my day, if I don't complete these, they don't delete, they just go back to my task list. So tomorrow morning, when I start out, I'm going to go back to tasks and start dragging and dropping things to my day. Okay, we're going to talk about, somebody asked about what's the difference between using To-Do and Outlook tasks. They're actually integrated together, and I'll show you how that works. So that's your day. It's literally creating your list for the day. You can also create additional lists outside of your tasks here. So here's just a screenshot of some additional lists. So if you had something like a special project, committee project, you could have a separate list for that. And you can drag and drop tasks in there or create new tasks. I'll show you how to do that. You can also update your theme on here so you can change the color. So let's just look at that. If I want to create a new list, it's just right down here. So let's say I'm going to call it travel. And this is just a separate list from my tasks. So I want to keep it separate. I can change the theme up here and with the little tiny dot. Really the benefit to changing the theme is to make it pretty or to make it stand out. So I know like this is my travel list. Or maybe I should do this. It's my travel list. The other thing you can do is if you click back over the title, you could change the name if you needed to. You can also add a cute little emoji. Not sure if you need a cute little emoji, but some people are more visual and it's just a nice thing to add. So I'm going to just here's an airplane for travel. So I can have as many lists under here as I want to, sort of delineate what I'm working on. So you can change the themes just to have them stand out. You can add that cute little emoji. So this one was an example. I had like a grocery list. I don't necessarily want to do that on to-do because this is for work, but you could. And I put a little pizza icon. And I can actually invite people to the list. So I created a list in to-do. And if I want to add people to it, there's this nice little people icon I can just click on and it gives me an invitation link. So we tried this out. I was able to just copy the link, send it to Leslie. She saw a little notice that said, do you want to join it? Or you could choose like, no, I don't want to join it. Not right now. Once she joined it, I got a nice little notice that let me know that she had joined my list. So now she can add things to the list. She can set due dates. We can collaborate on that list together. Okay, so if you schedule a due date, does it automatically show up on your My Day? So yes, if you schedule a due date, it's going to remind you on your day. You don't have to drag and drop it. I have not tried the list invite outside of MD Anderson. That's a great question. I have not tried to send it to anyone outside Anderson yet.
So Larissa, there was a question about downloading the app. Can you,
yes.
When you have a chance at the end, can you show how to actually get to the Microsoft Store?
Yes.
And downloading the app?
Will you remind me so I don't forget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you can invite people to a list if you want to. And then there's an Outlook integration with To-Do. So the Outlook integration you've probably already been using. It's just your task lists and Outlook. So your to-do list is if you go to the little task icon at the bottom of your Outlook, if you go to the task list at the bottom of your Outlook, you'll notice that there's a to-do list here. So that's already there. That to-do list is available for you to continue adding to. So you can add a new task just like you would in Outlook. You can add a task from your email just like you would in Outlook, and they will show up in your Microsoft to-do list. They're going to show up either under flagged emails is one way that they could show up. They could also show up, there's one other way, and I think I have a screenshot of it. So when you flag an email, just like you would normally in Outlook, you click on the flag icon and it's going to show up in your to-do list under the flagged email section. What's cool about the way they flag the email that I like is once you've flagged it, you can see the content of the email. You can set a reminder or a due date for yourself. You can, of course, add it to your My Day list if you want to work on it that day. You can also open the email again in Outlook. So if I'm working on something and somebody has sent me something through email and I flag it, it's already in my to-do list. I don't have to search through my email to find it again. I thought I had an example of this on here. It's under My Day, I think. So this one was one that I flagged from Outlook. I can open it up in Outlook right here, which means that all the attachments, everything we were working on, I could just open that email and start again from there, which I thought was really helpful. But I could also look at the actual body of the email as well, just right here in the task. I hope that all makes sense. When you're done with any task, you can add a check mark and it'll mark the task as complete in To-Do, and it will also sync with Outlook as well. So it syncs across them. You can also create a task from an Outlook email. So you can drag and drop an email to your task icon in Outlook, and it's going to open it and create a task. So let me show you kind of what that looks like. If I decide that I want to make a task out of this, I could just drag and drop it. Well, I messed up my view a little bit here because I was trying to squish it. My icon isn't showing now, Leslie.
So I think you can change your navigation options and force tasks to show up.
Got it.
There you go. So change the number from 3 to 4 up at the top.
Got it. I messed up the way my email appears for various reasons, but I can drag and drop any email to the tasks icon and it pops open the window, and then I can save it as a task for myself into my task list. Just save and close and it will show up in my task list. So that's another way to do it. Either do it that way or just check on it and use your follow-up like you normally would.
Here's one we didn't try. You can also highlight some text in an email and then add it to To-Do.
Oh yeah, and you can do that in OneNote too. Thanks, Taylor. You can highlight some text in an email and then it will add it to To-Do. Do you have to right click on it to do it? I don't want to do that right now because I don't want to open all my emails up.
So we also had a question. If you flag in Outlook, can you then pull the flag the email into a specific list, i.e. if you set up lists for specific projects?
If you flag an Outlook, can you then pull the flagged email into a, yes. Okay. So if I flagged an email, so this was one that I flagged, I could add it to another list if I wanted. So I could go back and check it in that list or see it in that list. Yes, that's capable. That's possible. Someone else still said, I still don't understand tasks versus flagging. The terminology is confusing because tasks are any to-dos when you're on your to-do list. Anything you add here is a task. In Outlook, your tasks are also here. To-dos is integrated with it under this to-do list section. So the terminology is a little bit confusing.
The thing to remember about flagging is specific to emails.
Yes, flagging is emails. So when you flag, you're doing it here. You're selecting an email and flagging it. When you're creating a task, you would either do it, you could do it through Outlook, or you could go to your task list and create it. It is the terminology we found confusing as well.
Yeah, because they repeat the same words but mean different things.
Yes. You can change your settings a little bit in Microsoft To-Do, which I just thought was helpful to know. In the app, under your name, you can go to settings and you can do things like turn off certain lists. So like if you're not using the important lists, you can say, just turn it off. I'm not using that list. It's not important. You can turn off sounds. So we've talked about notifications before. If the sounds are driving you crazy, you can definitely turn those off. And you can remove completed items immediately. So when you complete an item right now, so if I check something off, it goes to completed. If I don't want this to show up or it drives me nuts, 1, I can collapse the menu. 2, I could go into that settings section and there is a way to turn off completed here. So you could play around with these settings for them to show up the way that you want them to show up if that drives you crazy. If you also want to just delete a completed item, you can right click on it. You can see you can do a lot of things when you right click. I can say I'd actually it's not complete, or I can totally delete the task that way as well. You might like having the completed list because then you can have a report for the week of what you did, or it's based on your workflow. Okay. So it also integrates with Teams. Yes. So this was one thing also that the terminology is confusing, but you can add what's called tasks by planner to your Teams dashboard. So if you're using Teams, you can check the little ... and there's something in your apps called tasks by planner. You can choose to have that show up on your left-hand navigation bar. If it doesn't stick to the bar, you might need to right click on it and pin it to your team. And what I mean by that is when I do my this is my Teams app, when I click Task by Planner, it shows up right now. But if I navigate back and forth, it may not show up. So I can right click on this and pin it. So it will stick to my bar and stay there, and I don't have to go back and do that over and over. But as you can see in Teams, the basic things for to do are here. My day is not included. I'm not sure why it's not included. I did double check to see if that was something weird on my side, but it's just not for some reason. But you can do all the other basic things, your tasks, your important lists, your planner, assigned to me, etc. You can also see your planners when you're using in here. So if you have a planner attached to a team, I can actually go and click on that planner and view the planner as well. The planner has multiple views. So if I prefer that board look like it is online, I can change it to board or list. So it is integrated here. When you manage your tasks in Teams, I kind of just showed you this. It's just another way to manage it. So maybe you're already using the Teams app on your desktop and you just want to keep using this. You would just pin that app to your Teams and you can continue to manage these, and it will sync up to Outlook. It will sync up to Do Online. It will sync up to everything. Again, there may be a little delay of a few seconds or minutes between syncing. You can create a task from a Teams post as well. So if you're on a team and you want to make a task for yourself, you can click on the little dot, dot, dot over the post. Under more actions, you can create a task there. So if you find something on a team that was posted that you need to take some action on, you can create a task straight from the Teams post. You can also create tasks in OneNote, and this is similar to what Taylor mentioned for Outlook. Essentially, if you're in your OneNote notebook, you can highlight a piece of text and you can go to Outlook tasks and set the task just like you would in your email, and it'll show up in your to-do list. It'll show up in Outlook. It shows up in all the places so that you have a task for that. Don't confuse this with the to-do tag. The to-do tag is separate in OneNote, and it's not related to to-dos. You can make to-dos into tasks, but I haven't actually played around with that much. It's not really integrated with the to-do app. You're looking for these Outlook tasks here, unless someone else has found another better way to do that. You can also sync your list. So if you feel like it's moving too slow and you want to make sure it's synced, you can go back up to your name here and you can click sync. And I did do this yesterday. I was playing around with it and I felt like Teams was a little slower for some reason to sync with my desktop app. And by slower, I mean by seconds. I was being impatient. So you can go up to your name and click sync so everything will sync again if you feel like something's not showing up. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions or suggestions about to do? It's still very new. I think there's some great applications for it, but I think we kind of have to get in there and use it. Can the time duration spent on each task be recorded in the to-do list? Can the repeated tasks automatically appear for my selection while I create a new to-do list? I think you can set notes in here for how much time you spent, but I don't think it's actually recording how much time you're spending on something, but you could set that for the repeated tasks automatically appear for my selection. I'm not sure about that. I know if you do repeated, it should show up in your My Day and it should show up in your planned section. Can it roll over to the Outlook calendar? It doesn't, that I'm aware of, fully integrate in the Outlook calendar. It rolls over to that task section of Outlook, but not into the Outlook calendar. It's a good question too. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So they're really thinking of this as your to-do list for the day or the month or the week. Is there a calendar view for to-dos? It'd be great to look ahead at the week. I
know you can create views in Outlook.
I'm not sure. Yes, and then we need to look at where.
Yes, and we're going to look at where to download to do.
I know you can change the order of these. One of the things I was thinking was if I wanted to do them in order of importance, I can drag and drop them, but I don't know if there's a calendar view for these. For the actual app, and I'm showing the wrong screen for this. If you search,
No, you're showing it. It's down in the bottom in your taskbar.
oh, cool. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was showing.
Yep. So down
you
in the taskbar in the search box, right?
You should be able to search for the Microsoft Store. Can you see it?
There it is.
Okay. And then you should be able to search for ToDo. Some of these apps are blocked because they haven't been confirmed by, for info or InfoSec, et cetera, all of the people who are making sure we're secure. But here's the Microsoft ToDo app that you should be able to install. And you can see that mine is installed. Leslie did say it asked her to log in when she did it. And she tried, it didn't work. So she ignored it and it let her install it. So you may have to just try a few things. Can you color code the items in My Day? I don't believe that you can color code them, no. That would be nice. Can you do it on a Mac? So I don't know about on a Mac. I know you can use the office.com tool on a Mac. They don't have a Microsoft Store on their computer. So the other thing you can do is Google download ToDo app and see if you can download it that way. Okay, and people were able to ignore the sign in and log in. Okay, so someone is using it on a Mac. Do you use the app on the Mac or do you use the office.com version? Just to let you know, this is the office.com version. So it looks very similar. And you could totally use it just on the web without the app if you prefer not to use the app. It does the same exact things.
So just to reiterate how to get to the Microsoft Store if you've got it installed. So
Yes.
in your taskbar at the bottom, you have your Windows icon, but then next to it, you should have a search icon. Click on the search icon, type in Microsoft Store, and then open it. And then from there, you would search for Microsoft ToDo. This is the one that Larissa's showing. That's the one you want to download or you want to install. It more than likely will pop up and say, hey, you need to log in. Just ignore that and still download it. And it should download fine. But then when you go to open ToDo for the first time, it will ask you to log in. And that's where you will need to log in because then it'll sync with your Outlook.
Okay, so someone said they don't have a search icon. If you just download Microsoft ToDo, I think this is actually how I found it, was just go to welcome to ToDo and you should be able to download it this way as well. Yes, it looks like we have some Mac users, so some people are having a hard time getting it. So this has been vetted by the powers that be. So you might want to put in a 4info ticket if you're having a hard time getting the app. But you can also start by just using the office.com version too, because that one you should be able to log in easily too. Okay. Okay, so someone else said, if you have something like 9,000 flagged emails asking for a friend, do you recommend clearing those before using ToDo? That's a good question. I'm going to say yes. One of the things we noticed that I forgot to mention, Leslie, is if you flagged things years ago, months ago, because of the way Outlook is working now, it's, what's the word, archiving those, caching them? What is it called, Leslie? It goes into a flagged.
It archives them. So
okay.
Right now, the way Outlook works is we only hold 30 days worth of emails that are immediately apparent. You have to actually query the email server to see anything newer or older, I mean. And so like even the stuff that's, for example, the one that Larissa's got up, it's from September of 2021. So it shows up here in tasks, but if she tries to search for it without querying the server for all of the tasks, she's not going to see that task in Outlook. So it's weird.
This was
It's
the
very
first
confusing.
issue that we had, was that my old tasks weren't showing up here, and it's probably a good thing because at some point you do want to clear them. Um, but uh, yes, so if you don't know what we mean by query, when you search Outlook and it gives you the little bar that says click here for more. I forgot what it says exactly. I'll try to screenshot it next time. But there's a click here link and it will load older emails. In an effort to make our Outlook faster, they've done that, which is, I think, probably a good thing because some people never delete their emails. But it does also hide some things from you, so you have to kind of go back and look at those. So yes, maybe it's a good time for spring cleaning our tasks out of our emails. Click here for more on the server or something like that. Yes. Okay. Somebody has some from 2017. Okay, so maybe we should spring clean a little.
So there's a
Okay,
question, how do you prevent people from seeing what you're working on in office.com?
so I know it looks like they can see what you're working on, and someone somewhere in IT can see what you're working on, but most things actually, that's a good question, and we should get more information on that. You'll notice on Inside when you search people, it does show up some documents, and we should
Like
get
if you
some
look for
more,
me under the new directory.
because I've turned mine off. So this is a future topic. But if I look for Leslie, um, it should show some documents that we shared together. Wow, that did not, it's doing something crazy. Okay. Leslie, why did it do that?
I don't know. Because
Okay.
it's Microsoft. I don't know. There it is. Okay,
Okay.
so if you scroll down, there would be things that I'd worked on.
But these are things that we've worked on together. They're not things like, I'm not seeing her private files or anything. I'm just seeing things we've shared together.
Right.
And so it's not to everyone. You're only seeing things that have been shared with you in some way. So it looks like it's showing everything, but it's not. But I will go back and get some more information and see if there's anything else we need to know about that.
Okay, so we do have a question about the to-dos versus tasks. So why do
Okay.
we want to use the new app or to-dos versus tasks in Outlook?
So I think one of the reasons you might want to use to-dos is because it integrates all of the Office apps. The goal here is to kind of put it all in one place. So it's not just Outlook, but it's everything. However, you could just use to-do in Outlook. You could just use to-do in Teams. You could make that decision if that workflow is better for you. I like having the app because I feel like I can see what I'm looking at a little better and move it around better. But I think this is about a personal workflow, whatever works for you. Okay, and we had someone else confirm that everyone's dashboard is unique to the user, so we're not seeing other people's files. Okay, and then someone on a Mac is having trouble seeing their flagged emails. I'm not sure about that. Okay, we're past the time, and we will hang out for a little bit, but I want to